evening, everybody. Daisy back with you again tonight, and we're going to continue down this rabbit hole that is Metroid. Now, to recap where we've come from and to where we are now, the first game was on the Nintendo. The second game was on the Game Boy, the original little gray brick. Now, the third game, they moved up. We went to the high-level kid on the block at the time, the Super Nintendo, with Super Metroid. As, of course, everything that's on the Super Nintendo almost became Super, just like everything on the N64 became 64. But we're not going to hold that against this game. The name does not make it any worse. Now, originally you played on Zeebs, then you went to SR328. I think that's the right number. Please don't yell at me too much in the comments. To go to the home planet of the Metroids. But after that, you were done, you thought. You brought the baby Metroid back to the science station. They were going to learn about it and do science. Science. But things go wrong. Boom, boom, boom. And that's where Super Metroid takes off. Now, this is definitely a game I could recommend. This is one that is pretty much timeless level sprite action gaming, and at some of the highest quality gameplay that I've ever seen on sprite levels, even to this day. So flat out, we're starting with that. And because it does actually take off where the Game Boy game left off, it's just such a interesting timeline setup. Now the premise here is you drop out that Metroid, and then you get a emergency call from the space station asking you to come back because they're under attack. Ridley from the first game, who was just originally just a mid-level boss, boss, but just a boss in the middle of the game. He broke into the facility, the space station, and he was stealing things and busting stuff up. He was there to steal the Metroid that you took the time to capture. Now, you were a good little Samus, and you had at least thought you eliminated all the Metroids on Planet Zeebs. And now we have Ridley coming in, stealing this baby that you had brought there, and blowing up that space station. It starts off with this very forgiving first straight up boss fight to start the game off, followed by the space station exploding. Not a lot of spoiler. This literally is the intro to the game. This is the tutorial phase. But you get to start off with one of the most iconic now and most famous Metroid bad guys, Ridley. Big as life now. Full screen monster. He is freaking huge and beautiful. This pterodactyl headed kind of skeletally man thing with big claws and big flappy wings on his back and a giant pointy tail, and he shoots fireballs at you, and but he just plays with you. He doesn't let you kill him. He lets you hit him a few times, and then he flies off, because you are nothing to him at this point. Then you escape there, and you go chase him down, and lo and behold, he headed back to Planet Zeebs, where you started this whole mess. And then we get into the entirety of this game, which I don't think you could easily get into a single video without really going into a long trope of how this ordeal goes down. But we'll sum it up as much as I can. Same plan as the original one, but you now have a map on your screen, which is awesome and very useful. You have in fact, in your pause section, you have a wide array of mappiness, so you can really figure out where you're going. Access to all your weapons you've acquired. Weapons stack now, so that if you say get a bigger gun, your bigger gun also works with the new bigger gun attribute you pick up. Example, the charge beam also works with the wave beam, which also works with the plasma beam, which also works with everything else. They play nicely together. So you can have combo shot. And I believe you could turn parts off if you didn't want them. So if you were not a big fan of the ice beam for some reason, because it was annoying you, I'll admit to that, you could turn that off and boom, no ice beam for a bit. But you definitely need that to finish the game again because Metroids. They get even more power-ups than you had in the previous games. So it gets even more, stacked level of awesomeness. More upgraded body armors again. You get the various suit and the gravity suit, both of which increase your defense and give you extra abilities like being able to withstand heat and being able to jump in water and stuff. Very useful. Very useful. Because you can't beat the game without this stuff. It is a long game. There's a lot of times you end up backtracking to different areas you've been in before because something now can be unlocked, or you now have the ability to deal with the heat in this room, so you can go through this section. There are so many bosses in this game. Moderate level bosses to small bosses to just occasionally a Crozoa statue coming to life and you have to, kill it to get the ability that it's hiding. So, I mean, it's a wonderful array of fun in this game. And you have to kill at least the 4 main bosses to unlock the tunnel down to where Mother Brain is, to take her out again. Now, you can find early in the game where Mother Brain used to be. You actually go back to where her glass jar was originally. You go back to where you started the first game. You actually go down to those rooms and you find where stuff is and you see what's happened. You see the changes that have happened to Planet Zeve since you were last here. And the place is definitely a wreck. At least some of the areas where you've been have been messed up because you were a good little bounty hunter. You did make a good mess of this place. Eventually, you do get to find Ridley again late on in the game because he is one of the 4 main heads of the lockout section. And now, after you've gone through a lot of bosses and you've got a lot of power-ups and now you are badass, he doesn't look at you like you're just a joke. He lets you have a fight. And I gotta say, that is probably one of the best fights in the entire game. He's not the end boss, but he is definitely the best boss. You really feel like you were challenged. You feel like it was worth the effort. It feels like all of that effort of collecting missile tanks and collecting energy tanks and collecting all these other abilities and all the power-ups to your beams, and like, okay, I can manage. And if you've done your job right, you take him out and you feel like you did something. It was really one of the most satisfying boss fights I think I've had in a game. And I don't think I ever felt like this game felt cheaping on me. I don't feel like any bad guy was legitimately just, swapping you and taking out 3 energy tanks at once. Everything just felt like it was fair. It could get hard, but it always felt fair. There are so many bosses, so many varied areas. Areas where you actually have to break the world to continue. You need the super bombs to break a tube that walks, the doorway tubes. At least in one place, you have to stop in the middle of this tube. Instead of just being like a door that's the transition between rooms, so it goes through another room, and It's just the tube with, you see the water around you. You drop a super bomb in the middle of that, you break the room, and then you can continue down that way, and you can use that to get into parts of Meridia, one of the lower levels of the planet. It's just, there's so many puzzles and so many secrets. I don't know if I've ever unlocked every power up, because there's a couple of them that involve Shine Spark, and I fully admit I am not the best Shine Sparker. I am horrible at run, duck down, and then figure out how to make myself zip in the right direction. Um, but you know, it's a thing. I know people can learn it. People are great at it, who aren't me. uh, but you don't get penalized in the game for not having that stuff. It's just some power up, like you maybe miss a missile tank or something, or a bomb tank. But you're going to be able to make it through this game without every tank, everything. Um, uh, if you well, you'd be surprised how much time I mentioned backtracking earlier. How many different times whenever you're crossing sections to get to other sections, and you realize these worlds are interacting, these sections are interacting, because originally it looks like, oh, you got on this elevator, you're into this section, or you got on the elevator into this section. You don't realize how much they actually interact underneath the main world. There's connections, there's tubes that touch each other. There's sections where you walk through another area and you're just like, all of a sudden you're in a different map. If you go to your pause screen, you're like, oh, where am I at? I'm in a different place. And then you go to the next screen over, oh, I'm back where I was. I'm okay. I'm safe. I'm in the area. I know where I'm at. I remember first playing this game at a retail store. They had a display up with Super Metroid in it. And I loved the idea that while Mom was shopping her clothes, I sat there and I played this game. And I beat the big plant monster boss so many times because, well, that's one of the easiest things I could get through as a little kid who's in a store waiting for Mom, and got super missiles and stuff. Eh, Lots of good memories. I have beat this game several times, and I will beat it several more. I own a physical copy of it. I own it on the Virtual Console on the Wii U. I own it uh, probably more places, but at least those places. um, so this is definitely one. I recommend it. If you can find on a Virtual Console or physical copy and a way to play a Super Nintendo cartridge, do it. Not going to tell you to go illegally download ROMs. That'd be naughty of me. I would not tell you to do that. If you happen to have a copy of it somehow on your computer, play it. I don't care how you're enjoying it. Enjoy the games. I'm not going to tell you to steal things. um, so, that's a good wrap up of Super Metroid, one of the best platformer games probably ever made. And it's accessible. It's one that most anybody can actually get into that wants to play these kind of games. It's hard but fair. It teaches you as it goes. It holds your hand, but it doesn't hold it too much. Uh, it lets you explore, but it does give you direction. It is one of the most perfect types of this kind of game you can get. But they weren't done here. And we'll continue onward with some other games in the series coming up. Have plenty more Metroid to talk about. So, from Daisy here to all of you, hope you all being good little buns out there. I definitely would like it if you'd like, comment, subscribe. If you want to tell me about some of your Metroid experiences or your first Metroid game, go right ahead. There's a comment section down there. Also, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring the little dingly bell. It makes YouTube happy. And if it makes YouTube happy, it makes me a happy bunny. And you want to make me a happy bunny, don't you? Also, there's Patreon if you'd like to support the page and maybe tell me what to do on videos, what to wear, give me suggestions of what you'd like me to talk about, or there's options there. So, Patreon. Fun! And you'll support me and help me buy more equipment. Like, I'm looking to do a new camera, possibly a new microphone, and some even more lighting. Or possibly some more costuming equipment that could prove what you see on screen. Like, this isn't new. This is just another one of my fluffy pink robes. I switched it up because I felt like being a different color of pink robe for a little bit. And if you thought I only had one pink robe, come on, you're talking about me. Have you seen me for much time? I'm definitely not the one pink fluffy bathrobe kind of person. um, so from Daisy to all of you, I'll see you again next time with some more Metroid thoughts. Or something else. It might be someone else. Who knows? We'll see you soon, cubs and bunnies and anything else you want to be today. Or sissy puppies. That's for the sissy puppy who took the time to keep watching. Be good.